All right, you guys, welcome back. In this video, we are going to be talking about setting up your calendars. Okay, so on your sidebar in Go High Level, you're going to see calendars right here. And there's some different types of calendars that you can actually set up here. You're going to see across the top, you've got calendars. There will be an appointment tab, which will actually show all appointments that are booked. And then you're going to see calendar settings. So go ahead and click on calendar settings. Now again, across the top, you've got preferences that you can update, what day you actually want it to start on, English format, time format. So you can change some of this stuff if you want and update how you want that to look. Availability, this is something that they have that's coming really, really soon, which is going to be pretty cool. And then you've got connections in here as well. You can connect your Stripe account directly to your calendar. You're also under integrations. If you have connected your G Suite account, you're going to be able to see those connections right here in preferences as well. So inside of calendars, you guys, you've got calendars and you've got groups. Okay, so one thing to note is when setting up a calendar, you've got round robin and unassigned booking. Okay, so unassigned booking, you guys, is just like if you have a general calendar that doesn't have to be someone's specific calendar, you can essentially set up like a calendar for anything really. And they work similar in a way, so don't worry. Like, the biggest thing to note is when you need to assign someone to a calendar. So let's say that you've got yourself on a calendar. Maybe you share that calendar with your salesperson, or you want to set up a actual sales team. That's all going to be set up under round robin. Okay, and how that's going to work. And even if it's your own personal calendar, honestly, you can set up a round robin calendar and just assign yourself to it. So that's kind of what I've done. I like the setup of that better personally. So that's kind of what I'm going to walk you guys through. I don't actually use the unassigned booking too much, but it is an option if you need a calendar and you don't need anyone assigned to it. It's just a generalized calendar, then go with unassigned booking. But for this, for the training on setting you guys up for your own calendar, for your sales team's calendars, round robin is a good way to go. So let's go ahead and open that up. Now, this is where you configure your calendar settings. So you'll notice up here, you've got appointment distribution. So you can optimize for availability and you can optimize for equal distribution. What's really cool about this is, let's say that I wanted to add Courtney in here. And let's say that Courtney's my best salesperson, right? Like, she is absolutely the most important. Or let's say you've got a couple of people that handle your onboarding calls, right? And you've got someone that you want to set high priority. And then let's say Sam, no offense, Sam, let's say Sam was not so great at sales, right? We can set him on low priority. And what's going to happen is, as long as Courtney has availability, she's going to get pushed a majority of those calls, right? And then Sam is going to have some that like trickle in. So this is great when you have large sales teams and you're doing large volume, because the truth is you are going to see shining individuals that end up closing more deals for you, and those are the people that end up getting a little bit more stuff pushed towards them. Or if you want to have the option of, we're going to optimize for equal distribution, then you just basically set it up here. And you'll notice on the right here, meeting location, they can put their own individual meeting links. So if you're using Zoom, you can drop your Zoom links in here, and that's going to automatically get added to their text messages as well as their emails as those are going out. So the other thing too is you're going to name this. So if we called this ATM sales team, right? And then you can add a description. Now your calendar slug, this is the back end of your URL. Okay, so if you guys want this to, you could have it your brand, sales, or this would also be where you could put ATM discovery call. So your brand discovery call. Okay. and it's adding that to the back end of the calendar URL, which means when you go to share that URL, it's going to have that on the back end. So it just allows you a little bit of a cleaner interface. Now, widget type, Neo versus Classic. You guys, all this is, there's two different visuals of how a calendar looks on Go High Level. Classic's kind of the old boxy, squarey. Neo's going to have more circular, and I can show you guys here that in a second. So let's go with Neo. Appointment title, contact. So the other thing is you can obviously color code this. So as you start having more calendars in your business and more individuals, let's say you've got onboarding versus sales versus discovery call versus an SEO audit, you can color code those. So when you do go into your calendar, you can see everything that's going on with that. So let's go ahead and save this. Let's see. All right, cool. So availability, pretty simple. How long do you want your slot duration, right? Slot interval. If you want a 15-minute buffer in between your meetings, so people can't book the meetings back to back without any time for you to be prepared, you can set that there. Appointments per slot, right? So you can set this really to whatever you want. If you read these points, you guys, maximum number of appointments permitted per slot for the user. If the number of appointments exceed for the given slot for the user, then it either switches over to the next user or round robin in the queue. The slot's unavailable for prospect to book. So basically, you can set just how many appointments basically per time slot. So this is also important because if you have a sales team of 4 or 5, obviously you do want at least the same number of appointments possibly that fit that your sales team number. So appointments per day, again, maximum of appointments permitted per day on this particular calendar. So again, if you have multiple salespeople, you're gonna have to kind of do that math here of where you want them to have enough appointments, but you also don't want them, you don't want them taking on like 10 calls in a day. So you just need to calculate that. Minimum scheduling notice. This can be different for everyone, but ultimately I always make sure it's at least 12 hours. Like if someone goes into my calendar at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and tries to book a call, I don't want them available to book the call until tomorrow. So that's basically just going to give you that range. And then date range. Yeah, this is basically events can be scheduled over the next days. You know, typically like I like to do anywhere from like 14. So think about it this way. I don't want someone booking a call 3, 4, 5 weeks out on my calendar. They're going to forget it. Like I'm going to forget who it is by the time they get on the call. So this is up to you, but I would suggest no more than 14. Some people like it 10, right? So that's going to allow someone to only book 10 days out on your calendar. So they're going to see dead space after that if they don't do it. Now right here, you guys, this is where you're going to determine the hours of this calendar. So again, this is a group calendar. You're going to go through the same exact setup if it was your calendar. The only difference would be that you would put yourself in here and not have another person, and it would still work as the same calendar essentially. It would just be your personal calendar. So now down here, what's cool about this is, let's say that you work 10 to 6, right? I can change that here and just click apply all, and it's going to apply that to all the hours. The other thing is, if you need to, let's say that you have a meeting at noon every Monday, which I do. So that's just an example. I could set this from 10 to 11 or and then, or let's say that it was at 11. So I could add hours and go, all right, I can start back up at noon and I can go to 6. And now you've got that hour gap for that particular meeting. So you can add in as many of these as you want for this calendar. Again, this is a group calendar, so more than likely your sales team is going to have a lot more just kind of open availability. But if it's your personal calendar, you're going to probably have some different things there. And then recurring appointments, if you do want the option of someone to be able to book into your calendar and set a recurring appointment, there's a lot of reasons why that would happen, but you can turn that on. So, and then if you go to save and continue. All right, so last piece here, and this is what's really great about Go High Level, is you can have a form directly on your calendar that asks any questions that you need answered before someone books an appointment with you. So if this is a sales appointment, let's say that you needed to confirm their name, phone number, email, website. You could ask them about their marketing experience, all that stuff. So there's a lot of ways to use this form if you want. You don't have to use a form, but basically what you would do is you would first go create the form that you need inside of Forms, which there's a section in the course that goes over this. And then all of those forms are going to populate here automatically. So you'll have those choices, but you just have to build the forms first, and then they will all auto-populate in here. Use sticky contact. Sticky contact will autofill contact information previously entered, so leads don't have to enter it twice. That's actually kind of a cool feature. So if you want that on, then they don't have to enter in their information. Once it's pulled into High Level, it's going to recognize them in the future and just autofill that information. Notification type. So right here, you can actually set up the different types of notifications that you want to get. So like for instance, if a call books in with Courtney, then I want to make sure that she personally gets a notification. You can do that. You can send notification directly to the contact, and then also there's emails. Now, again, we're going to be showing you guys some different automations that you can set up on the back end as well. To send you like text messages and stuff when an appointment comes in, and just make it really easy to know when everything's happening on your calendar and give you yourself reminders as well as the client. So let the calendar auto confirm my appointment. I typically leave this on. You guys, I typically don't do a whole lot with this. One thing, and this is a personal preference, I don't allow cancellations on my calendar. That's just me personally. If somebody wants to cancel, they typically have to reach out to us, but this is totally up to you. If you do allow cancellation, you will get notification when something is canceled. So totally up to you how you want to do that. Additional notes. And as you guys learn here, you're going to start seeing a lot of these custom values, right? Because using custom values everywhere you possibly can is the smartest thing that you can do for your business, because if you ever have to go back and change something, it's going to automatically use those custom values. So custom values are your friends. You'll see like, here's a cancellation link, here's a reschedule link, right? Those autofill based on the information from the appointment. And we're going to be discussing and using custom values a lot. Okay. You can put in your Facebook Pixel ID here. It does allow you to enter in custom codes. So if you need to do something custom with your calendar, you can do that there. And then form submission, you can either redirect them to a URL like a thank you page, or just a custom thank you message. Thank you pages, you guys, are very, very useful. Okay. I highly suggest when someone books an appointment with you, you can send them to a simple landing page. You could have a video talking about what your meeting's going to be about, especially if it's a discovery call, a sales call, kind of telling them what to prepare, but also it throws a human in the mix. So I'm going to talk a lot about that in this course as well, just different methods of humanizing and personalizing your brand, and just how it makes everything more effective, right? So, but if you did want to just use a custom message, you can certainly do that here. You'll notice that contact method, this gets auto-filled. So as long as your business information is filled in properly on the business profile settings, then that's going to auto-populate, okay? You can use other custom methods in here if you need to put more information in, but that's ultimately it. So we're going to click on complete. And what you'll notice now is we have the ATM sales team calendar here. It's going to take a second to load. Let's just refresh this. All right. Now what you're going to see is anytime that you're in calendar, you guys, you can just find your calendar. It's a round robin, right? Right here, you can edit it. You can duplicate the calendar. You can copy the embed code. So if you need to embed this anywhere on your site. Now, the cool thing is if your website, anything that you're using inside of Go High Level, you actually don't need this embed code because this calendar will populate as an option on all of your funnel builders, everything. We'll get into that once you get to the funnel, right? Your permanent link, this is a link that never changes, okay? So this is a link that is set for this specific calendar. If I was to go put this on a website somewhere, no matter what I do with this calendar, this link is never gonna change, okay? Now, a scheduling link, this link technically could change. So anytime that I am putting the calendar on a website, a funnel, like anywhere offline that I know I don't ever want that link to change and I want it to always link to this, I'm going to use the permanent link, right? Now the scheduling link, again, like depending on, let's just copy this and take a look at how this link looks. All right, and then also you guys, this is what the Neo calendar looks like, okay? Remember how I said there's two different calendar types? Neo's just a little bit more curved edges. The classic is more boxy. That's really the only difference between those two. But that was the permanent link. Let's copy the scheduling link. Yeah, so the pretty URL, you guys, the one that we created that has the ATM discovery call, that is your scheduling link, okay? So that's going to be the difference is when you're going to share this stuff, like if you want a pretty link and you're just sending it to a customer or something that to book a calendar call or you're using it with your VAs, that's going to be the calendar link that you want to use. All right. Permanent link, definitely, like if you're putting it on a website or you're putting it in a blog post or something that you never want to change, that is what I would use 100%. All right, and then you can deactivate, you can move to a group, and you can delete the calendar because we're going to be talking about groups in the next video. So that, you guys, is how you set up your calendar. You now have a calendar, and again, you'll be able to use that everywhere. So if we go now to sites, and if we were to, let's see, yeah, let's take a look at this. So for instance, if I was going to add this calendar onto my website, so a couple of things here that you can do. You can use buttons to pop open this pop-up, right? And right here, you can actually add a link to your calendar. So you'll see it right here. And then you select the calendar that you want on here, and that's going to populate. So you can set certain buttons to open up your pop-up, which is something that's really easy to do. The other thing is, let's say that I wanted a calendar right here. It's just super easy now to add those calendars anywhere that you want them, okay? And that's it on calendars, you guys, for setting up your calendar. We'll see you guys in the next video.